Hello guys and welcome back to FA Cup predictions. This time we are predicting round 4. There's only 32 teams left and we're going to see which 16 are going through to round 5. As you can see, Sophie, who I usually do predictions with, is not with me today. She is back from the Czech Republic tomorrow, but she has still sent me her predictions, so I will give you both of our predictions today. And she has also told me that the like target will be 3,000 for this video. So let's do it, guys. Be sure to support this video if you haven't already by hitting the like button, and make sure to subscribe if you like your football predictions. Your support would be massively appreciated. Let's try and push to 91,000 subscribers now. Every subscriber matters. And like I say, there's 16 massive games to predict this week. Let me know your predictions down in the comments. And without further ado, let's get into the games. We start with an all Premier League matchup on Friday night as Manchester United host Leicester City, and these two are facing off 4 times this season because obviously they play in the Premier League, so they're playing twice there, and Manchester United did knock Leicester City out of the Carabao Cup. Will they knock them out of the FA Cup? It's difficult to predict this because both have been very inconsistent. Leicester have been quite consistently bad recently. They did get the win against Tottenham in the Premier League a couple of weeks ago, but obviously they lost 4-0 to Everton last time. Manchester United, they lost 2-0 to Crystal Palace last time in the Premier League. I don't know what to say. I mean, Leicester City did win the FA Cup a couple years ago. Manchester United won the FA Cup last season. And seeing as they're doing so bad in the Premier League, maybe they can try and go on a cup run to try and keep some positivity going. Maybe. I'm going to go Man United 2-0. I don't think there's going to be lots of quality in this game, considering both of them are not in great form. I'm going to go 2-0, and Sophie is predicting 3-0 to Manchester United. Is that because Manchester United are good, or is it because Leicester are bad? I'll leave that to you guys in the comments, but feel free to share your predictions. The next game is between Leeds United and Millwall. Leeds United, of course, are playing in midweek in the Championship. They are away at Coventry City on the day I record this, so look out for a Leeds versus Coventry match vlog because I will be there. As for this game, they take on Millwall, and Millwall are in good form. They've won their last 3 in the Championship, but Leeds United's last home game was a 7-0 win against Cardiff. I don't know how seriously these two will take it. Leeds have got to focus on getting promoted. Millwall, can Millwall make the playoffs maybe? Will they be focusing on the league? I don't know. Let's go for some fun. I'm going to back Leeds to win. 3-1 is my prediction here. Sophie is also going to back Leeds. She is saying 2-0. We're both backing Leeds to win this one by 2 clear goals. Let me know your thoughts on Leeds United versus Millwall. The next game then is an interesting one. Leyton Orient take on Manchester City, and this might not be as straightforward as some people think. Manchester City are, of course, a very powerful team, but they're not having a good season, and by their standards, they're having a very bad season. Leyton Orient, on the other hand, are flying in League One. They've been in some incredible form, despite their last game, of course. They did lose 1-0 at home to Stockport, but otherwise, they've been dishing out loads of defeats to all the other League One teams. Can they beat Man City? They did beat Championship Derby in the previous round, but Manchester City absolutely destroyed Salford 8-0 in the last round of the FA Cup. Do you know what? I think Leyton Orient are really going to be up for this, and they're going to give it their best, but towards the end of the game, Manchester City might just have, well, they will have that bit better fitness and composure in the final few minutes. I'm going to say Leyton Orient 0, Man City 2, and Sophie is going Leyton Orient 0, Man City 3, but we would both be happy to be proven wrong on that one. So let's see if Leyton Orient can do it. Can they? Can they? Let me know in the comments. The next game is at the CBS. I will be there, and Sophie will be there, and Benjamin Bloom will be there. We're all going together. Coventry City take on Ipswich, and it feels like a nice distraction for both teams because both have got a lot to play for. Coventry City are gunning for the playoffs. Ipswich Town have got to focus on trying to survive. But what I did say to Benjamin Bloom, who's an Ipswich fan, last week was, I do worry that if Ipswich lose to Southampton, they will retaliate against Coventry, because that was a disastrous game to lose and their fans are going to want a reaction. There's going to be plenty of Ipswich fans in the away end, because fair play to Doug King, the Coventry owner, he's put the prices down, so I expect a good crowd from both teams here. How do I see this going? Well, Ipswich did do the double over Coventry last season. Will either team rotate? I suspect they will. Go on, Coventry are in good form. I'm sorry to my Ipswich friends, but I'm going to go Coventry 2, Ipswich 1 as a mini cup upset. Let's see if Coventry City can go on another cup run. I'm backing Coventry to win this 2-1. Sophie is also going for Coventry City to win 2-1 as well. So we're brimming with confidence. Surely that can't end well. The next game is at Everton. They take on Bournemouth. This is an all Premier League matchup. I don't know. I really don't know. Bournemouth have been in some really good form, but they lost last week, but that was to Liverpool, so there's no disgrace in that. And then you've got Everton, who are absolutely flying and look in no danger of going down. So, can they go on a cup run? I don't know. I think this could go either way, I've got to be honest. Let's go for Everton. I've always looked at Everton as a big traditional club that back in the day did win competitions, and maybe under David Moyes they might roll back the years and go quite far in the cup. Let's go Everton 2-1, but honestly I don't think there's much in that one. And Sophie is going Everton 1, Bournemouth 0. We're both back in the toffees. I mean, I like toffees, I like cherries, I don't mind who wins. Let's see who gets through. The next game is at Deepdale. Preston take on Wycombe Wanderers. It's opened up quite nicely here for Preston. I think they had League One Charlton in the last round. Now they've got League One Wycombe. They're going to fancy their chances because it's back-to-back home games against lower opposition to get to the 5th round. That said, I won't underestimate Wycombe because they've been great fun to watch in League One, and I could see them playing Preston in the Championship next season. However, maybe the home advantage is just tipping it for me. Yeah, I'm going to say Preston 2, Wycombe 1. I'm just going to edge them. I think it's, like I say, it's opened up quite nicely. And as for the league, surely Wycombe have got more going on in their league than Preston do in their league. So maybe their focus might be a little bit more split. That's another way of looking at it. As for Sophie's prediction, she is going to go for the little upset. She's going Preston 1, Wycombe 2, which I don't think is impossible. Let me know your thoughts on Preston versus Wycombe at Deepdale. The next game is at St Mary's as Southampton take on Burnley. These two just keep avoiding each other. One's in the Premier League, then one's in the Championship, then one's in the Premier League and one's in the Championship, and then back to the Premier League and Championship again. I don't know what's going to happen for this because it doesn't feel like there's a lot to separate them. Both are probably too good for the Championship and not good enough for the Premier League. Burnley did win in midweek against Oxford United. They keep keeping clean sheets. Maybe this will finish 0-0. I don't know. Southampton have got that bit of quality, haven't they? Let's go Southampton 1, Burnley 0. I mean, let's be honest, it was a great win for Southampton against Ipswich in the Premier League last weekend. Maybe they can use this game as a stepping stone to build some confidence. And who knows, could Southampton go on a cup run? I'm going to back them 1-0. Sophie is going for a goalless draw and for Southampton to win on penalties. I could see it being a goalless draw, but I will add that if James Trafford plays in goal for Burnley in a penalty shootout, he's quite good at saving penalties, so it could go either way. Let me know your thoughts. The next game is at Stoke City. They take on Cardiff City in an all-championship matchup. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, who's going to be more focused on the league? They're both in a similar position. They both need to get away from trouble. I think both of these teams will survive in the Championship this season. I don't know how to predict this. Cardiff have been in good form, but then they lost 7-0 to Leeds. Stoke have just started to put some things together. They did beat Hull City away last week, and Mark Robins did go on a magic FA Cup run with Coventry last year, so let's say he might do the same with Stoke. I'm going to go Stoke 2, Cardiff 1 as my prediction. I don't think there's a lot in this. It'll be interesting to see how strong both of these teams go. Sophie is also going for the Potters. She is saying 3-1 to Mark Robins' Stoke City. Let me know your thoughts if you're a Stoke or Cardiff fan. The next game is Wigan Athletic versus Fulham. This is like rolling back the years to the Premier League in the mid-2000s. I remember this kind of game. Surely there's a difference in class now. Wigan Athletic are sort of mid-table in League One. I don't think they'll get relegated, but I don't think they've got enough to make the playoffs. They're kind of meandering. As for Fulham, I mean, it's possible they could finish in the European places in the Premier League. They've just come off the back of beating Newcastle away 2-1, and maybe they'll fancy an FA Cup run. Let's go Wigan 0, Fulham 2. I think there will be that difference in class and Fulham will get the job done towards the end. Sophie is also going Wigan 0, Fulham 2. Let me know your thoughts on that one at the DW. The next game is at St Andrews. This is also an old school Premier League matchup. Birmingham City versus Newcastle United. This could be interesting. I mean, obviously there is 2 leagues between these two, but let's be honest, Birmingham City are too good for League One. I'm following them with Benjamin Bloom each week and they just keep winning and winning and winning. The only thing I would say is they're not quite putting the teams to the sword just yet. They're winning by 1s and 2s, but that's good enough to be fair. I still don't think Birmingham have hit their peak, is what I'm trying to say. As for Newcastle, obviously a good team, but a little bit spotty, and I don't think it's impossible Birmingham could win this, but surely Newcastle have got to win. Surely? I reckon Birmingham could take the lead and Newcastle will come back with their Premier League stars and edge this one. I'm going to go Birmingham 1, Newcastle 2, but Sophie is going for Birmingham. She is going Birmingham 2, Newcastle 1, which I love. Wouldn't it be great to see an upset in this kind of game? Let me know your thoughts. I'm sure it'd be a great atmosphere at St Andrews between the Birmingham and Newcastle fans. Next up then, we go to Brighton versus Chelsea. Oh, goodness me, Brighton. Myself and Sophie were at the City Ground last week and we saw Brighton getting absolutely obliterated by Forest 7-0. They will need a reaction to try and put a smile back on their fans' faces, but I don't know if they're going to beat Chelsea. I could see Chelsea being one of those teams that get quite far in the FA Cup this year. Obviously, they have got to juggle the fact that they're playing in the Europa Conference League and they're also going for the top 4 in the Premier League. They did just beat West Ham on Monday 2-1. I'm going to go Brighton 0, Chelsea 2. And Sophie is also going for the Blues. She is saying Brighton 1, Chelsea 2. So let me know your thoughts on that one down below. It's always an interesting one, Brighton versus Chelsea. There's always quite a few links with players that have gone from Brighton to Chelsea and also a manager that went from Brighton to Chelsea. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Next up, we go to Ewood Park as Championship Blackburn Rovers host Premier League Wolverhampton Wanderers. And once again, this is like a flashback to the early 2000s, mid-2000s. I think, if I remember correctly, in 2011, this was a massive game down at the bottom on the final day. I think Blackburn won 3-2 and they both survived, but it was nail-biting stuff. How times have changed. I don't think it's impossible Blackburn could cause an upset, but their form in the Championship is starting to tail off. They've just lost again in midweek to Queen's Park Rangers, and Wolves picked up a big win against Aston Villa last week. So I'm going to say Blackburn 0, Wolves 1. I think John Eustace has the ability to try and keep the game close and give Blackburn a chance, but I think the quality will be too strong. And Sophie is also going for Wolves. She is going 2-0 to the away team. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments for that game at Ewood Park. The next game then is at Home Park as Plymouth Argyle take on Liverpool. Oh, this is crazy. Bottom of the Championship versus top of the Premier League. I love these kind of matchups because it's a complete mismatch, and I know some people like to say that the magic of the cup is not there anymore, but it gives us games like this which are just going to be entertaining whatever happens. Fair play to Plymouth. They beat West Bromwich Albion last week, and let's not forget they beat Brentford away in the previous round of the FA Cup. But surely they can't beat Liverpool. Liverpool are on an absolutely rampant run, and at the time of recording this, they could still do the quadruple this season. They're top of the Premier League, they finished top of the Champions League table, and surely Liverpool win this? Yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to give Plymouth a goal. Let's have some fun. Plymouth 1, Liverpool 3. I think Liverpool will probably rotate a little bit, and that might give Plymouth a fighting chance, but surely still Liverpool have too much quality. So I'm going 3-1, and Sophie is going 4-1. But if Plymouth actually do it, if Plymouth beat Liverpool, it would be right up there with one of the biggest FA Cup shocks ever. Let's see what happens. Let's just see. But we're both going for Liverpool. The next game is at Villa Park. This one feels interesting as Aston Villa take on Tottenham. It doesn't feel like there's an outright favourite. I guess it probably is Villa because they are performing better in the Premier League. But Tottenham are a little bit unusual. Seem to turn up every so often, and I wouldn't put it past Villa winning 3-0 or Tottenham winning 3-0. It feels like that kind of game. Villa did lose to Wolves in the Premier League last weekend. Tottenham did win away at Brentford. I mean, Aston Villa are going strong in the Champions League, and the fact that they finished in the top 8 means that they don't have any playoff games coming up, so they could go quite strong in this game, and I don't know. Is this their best chance at winning silverware? Because can they really win the Champions League? I don't know. And as for Tottenham, Ange Postecoglou does say that he wins things in his second season. I don't know. I'm going to flip a coin. Let's go Villa 2-1. I'm going to back Villa, but maybe Spurs will score. Sophie is going to flip me and go Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 2. So we're completely going in opposite directions. Share your thoughts if you're a Villa or Tottenham fan. I fancy Villa, Sophie fancies Tottenham. The next game is at the Keep Moat as Doncaster Rovers take on Crystal Palace. This is like an old school Coca-Cola Championship match. Can Doncaster do it? Because there is a massive gulf in between these two now. A gulf in class because Doncaster are in League 2 and Palace are in the Premier League. There's 3 divisions between them. That said, Doncaster are on a great run in League 2 at the minute. They've won their last 4. They're second in the table, but can they beat Palace? I will be rooting for Doncaster. They're the last League 2 team left, so they are the underdogs of the tournament. But I don't know. Do you know what I can see happening? I think for 60 minutes Doncaster might be trying to match them, but it would just be a case of fitness levels. Get the job done for Palace. Doncaster 1, Palace 2. I'm sorry, Doncaster fans. I'd love you to prove me wrong. And Sophie is also going to go for Palace. 2-0. Maybe Palace might go on a cup run. Wouldn't it be great to see them in the final? I mean, remember when Alan Pardew did that dance in the final when they scored against Man United? I don't know what that was. On to the final game. The final game is Exeter City versus Nottingham Forest. There's a massive gulf in class in between these two. Exeter City are in League 1. They're in really poor form. They're losing most weeks. And they take on Nottingham Forest, who are 3rd in the Premier League and have just beaten Brighton 7-0. So you know what this means. It'll probably be 1-0 to Exeter City. No, I'm going to go for Forest. I mean, I could go absolutely crazy and say 6-7-0, but I think Forest will probably rotate to some extent. They can't risk lots of great players in this game. It's going to be a physical game. It's a long journey. The pitch isn't going to be the same standard Forest usually play on. Can Exeter really give them a good game? I mean, they did knock Oxford out, which was a bit of an upset. No, I'm going to go Forest. I mean, I tell you what, I know Forest are going to focus on the Premier League and trying to secure a top 4 place, but I wouldn't put it past them going really far in the cup. I'm going to go 4-0. And Sophie is also going 4-0. So we're both back in Forest quite comfortably there. Let me know your thoughts if you're an Exeter City or Nottingham Forest fan. And there you have it. That is mine and Sophie's FA Cup predictions for the 4th round. As I say, Sophie is back from the Czech Republic tomorrow. Do look out for a Coventry City versus Ipswich Town vlog on Saturday. And otherwise, be sure to support this video. Hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe as well if you haven't already. Thank you so much for your support so far. Let's try and get to 91,000 subs. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Peace out.